which is available now in the Fanatic Sportsbook app. It's Pete Alonso to get over 1.5 hits, plus runs, plus RBIs. Juan Soto to get at least 2 total bases, and Kodai Senga to strike out at least 6 Washington Nationals in the game today. It's a parlay that pays out at plus 475. So when it comes to Kodai Senga, we hear so much, Todd, about the ghost fork, and rightly so. It's a great pitch, but what about the way he uses it in concert with his other pitches?
Well, we've seen it a little bit more this season. We especially saw it in Colorado against the Rockies, and that's in using it with the fastball forkball combination. Forget about the base of the balls that are going left to right, but you look at the whiff rate on the forkball, 42.5%, which is very, very good. 53% swing rate on the forkball when thrown after the four-seam fastball, and 0 for 26 when the at-bat ends in that forkball. So that's a lot of numbers, but what does it really mean? What it really means is when he matches up the four-seam fastball with the forkball, they're really tough to distinguish the difference for opposing hitters, and you see this as a fastball here. These are both pitch-by-pitch at-bats that end in the strikeout, fastball out over the plate. Now he's got to protect it against that fastball out of the hand. He's swinging at fastball, and the ghost fork disappears. This one's a perfect example right here. He paints the outside corner. Now he takes it a little further out with the fastball, getting him to look for that fastball. Now he goes with the forkball, starts it in the same place, and it disappears out of the strike zone. Is something that he's done really effectively. It's something that matches well because the straight over the top four-seam fastball, he can throw at any quadrant up and down, and he comes out of that same exact quadrant when he throws that forkball, and it really looks like a fastball out of his hand, but when we watch it in slow motion, it's got lack of rotation, so it just dives off the table and has that speed differential. So hitters are swinging at fastball out of the hand. The ghost fork just disappears, thus why it's a ghost. It just disappears.
Hard to see sometimes. By the way, faced off against the Nationals did Kodai Senga back on the 25th of April. A couple of runs over 6 innings in that game. Pitched well against them. Does he use the game plan? How should he attack them today?
Well, this is a team that, as we talked about with David Peterson, is a very aggressive swinging team, but they're not a huge chase team. So you got to be in the strike zone, but they're going to try to attack early. They're going to go after that fastball early in count. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Kodai go with the cutter and the sweeper earlier in the counts to try to get some soft contact and early outs.
All right, we shall see as we close in on Game Time out at Citi Field as the Mets go in search of their 6th consecutive victory, and Kodai Senga looks for his 7th win of the year. He comes in with the ERA at $1.59. We'll come back. We'll wrap up Citi Pregame Live in just a moment.
They've won 5 in a row, 14 of their last 17. And you've played on winning teams, Ronnie, where there is a feeling of inevitability when you get on one of these hot streaks. What does that feel like?
What does it feel like? It just feels like you cannot wait to come to the ballpark. You can't wait to see who's the next hero. Hopefully it's you. And you can't wait to spend time with each other and keep it going, whether it's a poker night on a Monday night or figuring out where to go to dinner tonight after a day game. You really have to nurture it because you want it to last all season long. How do you do that? Well, you make sure you're accountable and make sure you do your work and make sure you're authentic and do all the things that make you a good teammate. Kind of like their manager, Carlos Mendoza, who is all those things.
Because after all, it's only June 12th. There's a long way to go. But what better than being on a hot streak and having your ace on the mound? Kodai Senga goes today for the Mets.
It's going to be interesting to watch Senga today after the outing he had in Colorado with all the forkballs that he threw, 49 of them, to see how he comes back. That extra day probably really needed.
5 years ago, Mike Soroka blew out his Achilles pitching against the Mets in Atlanta. This is the first time the Mets have faced him since.
You know, one of the saddest days at the ballpark, to tell you the truth. He was a great star, second in the Rookie of the Year, went to the All-Star game in 2019, an unbelievable ERA. He's fought his way back, and you're hoping for good things, just maybe not today.
Percentage in baseball. And McNeil gets one in the air deep down the right field line, headed toward the corner, and it's out of here! Jeff McNeil with a 3-run homer. Just tucked it over the right field wall for his 7th home run of the year, and the Mets jump out to a 3-0 first inning lead. And Nimmo cranks one to deep right field, right down the line. Got him and stays fair. That ball is out of here. Brandon Nimmo strikes again, his 3rd home run in 2 days. And Abrams hammers one on the ground. Wide of first, Alonso. Accurate throw, a little high, but Senga's got it. And now he's hurt. He hit the bag awkwardly. Oh, boy. I mean, he had to reach back with his toe to be able to get the bag, and that's what created that stretch.
That's what it is. Just the extra stretch back to make sure he secured the bag cost him there.
And clearly going to come out of this game
with a big limp
and
as
you
well.
just hope that it's nothing serious.
He's going to get an MRI tomorrow. We'll see the severity of it, but he's going to be on IL here. So we just got to wait and see what we're dealing with.
Do you have to, or did you talk to Pete at all? I know he's been down on his throwing at times, and when something like that happens, do you worry about it getting in his head a little bit?
Not really, but I talked to him right away. As soon as the inning was over, I went up to him and was like, hey, man, this baseball, you know, it happens. And then Senga went in and he sent the translator and basically told him, hey, I felt it on the step before the jump. So tell him not to worry about it. And that's what, you know, Senga really, that's what really happened. He said he felt it on the last stride before he had a jump. So it happens.
Anthony?
Just in the way that Senga reacted both on the field and whatever your conversations were with him off, what is your sense of how bad it might be?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to speculate, but obviously we know he's going to be down. You know, as soon as he goes down like that and he grabs the hamstring, we saw last year, unfortunately. But yeah, like I said, we got to wait till tomorrow and see what we're dealing with here.
He was obviously having a terrific year, a terrific game before that happens. Just what is the level of disappointment, frustration, both for you and for him?
Yeah, I mean, look, you hate to see anybody go down, especially a guy like Senga after what he went through last year and how hard he was. But, you know, I keep saying it, you know, injuries happen, you know, we feel for him, but nobody's going to feel sorry for us. We got people coming, and the guys that are healthy now, they will continue to step up, and we'll feel good with our chances and with the guys that we got in that room. He's part of it. You know, every team deals with it. You know what, like I said, we got to keep going. You know, we'll get him back.
Mike?
Does Blackburn probably take that next turn in the rotation for Senga?
We'll see. I mean, it's too soon. You know, he's available out of the bullpen the next series, and then we'll go from there.
Also, can you just that catch Tyrone Taylor made in the sixth inning? What was your reaction to it, and just what's he meant to this?
Yeah, I feel like at this point now, nothing surprises. But as soon as the ball is hit, and looking at him and Soto and how far both of them were, I thought off the bat was at least a double. And then as he keeps closing the gap, and then for him to make that a spectacular play, diving like that, it's not the first time we've seen it. But that goes to show you, you know, he's elite out there. You know, he's a special player. Special defender, one of the best in the game, you know, like not too many people can get to the ball like that, especially with a left on left, and he's playing more towards a left center gap, you know, and he's got to go all the way there, and for him, huge play in the game there.
Abby?
How is Senga dealing with this? I mean, he was so eager to come back and be healthy this year, and he said that last year was very difficult for him rehabbing without the team. What's his morale like right now?
Yeah, I just spoke with him. Obviously frustrated, but I told him he's going to be back, and he's going to be important part of this team when he gets back. You know, so the main thing is waiting for the results, see what we're dealing with, and then we'll attack it. You know, and like I said, he'll be back. He's a competitor, you know, and sucks that he's got to go through it again. But hey, we'll get him back.
Will on the left.
Hey, Carlos, you had said that you guys had been a little bit undecided on Montas, whether it would be one more or two more rehab starts. How much does this news impact that conversation?
I think the decision with Montas is what's best for Montas too. You know, like we're not going to rush because of what happened today. Like if he needs another one, we'll give him another one, you know. So the goal here is for him to be ready to go 100%, and whenever he's at that level, we'll make the decision. But for now, too soon. But we got to wait until he pitches tomorrow, and then we'll go from there.
Joel on the left, behind you.
McNeil got hit by a pitch and got pulled awful early from the game. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. It's a decision there that is a unique decision, you know. So you're you up 4 after the 6, and so the decision there is put the guy that can cover a lot of ground at second base with so many lefties from that lineup, and the trade-off is 1 at bat, you know. So I decided to go with the defense there, and sure enough, that at bat comes back again. But the decision there was just, and to trying to keep Acuna there, you know, somehow active, you know, engage with the games and give him somewhat an opportunity there too.
All right, so that is the manager of the Mets. It's Carlos Mendoza. There's the update on Kodai Senga. It is a hamstring strain at the moment. That's what they're calling it. MRI tomorrow. He is heading for the injured list. So that's a big impact here because this is a guy we know that he's got to be right before he's out there on the mound. This sets him back. Even if it's a short stint on the IL, we're not going to speculate here, but the ramp-up period you would think would be somewhat considerable, Tom.
Yeah, you don't want to speculate on that, but I thought it was interesting that Carlos said that Senga said he felt it before the jump. The step before the jump, which makes some sense because he did a great job of being ginger when he landed, and actually the strain looked more like on the left leg, on the landing leg, and that might have been because he was favoring the right leg because he'd already felt it. Regardless of that, you know, it's a hamstring issue. It's an IL stint, and if we learned anything about Kodai Senga in the years that he's been here with the Mets, he pitches when he's ready to pitch and when his mechanics feel good and when he says his body's healthy. And so that's why Carlos probably doesn't really have a whole lot of an idea on a time frame until they really see what they're up against and how Kodai decides to handle some of that rehab process, because he is not your typical guy when it comes to rehabbing his body. He has very specific ways to do things. Sometimes they take a little longer, but when he's right, and he doesn't want to be out on the mound unless he's right.
All right, one of the other things the manager was asked about was taking Jeff McNeil out of the game when he did there. So Jeff hits the home run in the first inning. He gets hit in the shin by a pitch in that third inning. He said it really was not related to that, but he put Acuna into the game defensively, and he paid pretty big dividends because he went out and got that ball in the outfield in the ninth inning and then kept that runner down at third base as well. So what about that decision-making by Carlos to put Acuna in and give him some run?
Well, I think it's twofold. I think that maybe Jeff got lumped a little bit and there was a little something there, but I don't think it really had to do with Jeff being hit by the pitch as much as it does Carlos trying to systematically make sure that he keeps all of his guys involved in games. And Acuna has not had a lot of playing time, consistent playing time lately, with Beatty doing well at third base, with Jeff swinging the bat as well as he had, and with Ronnie Mauricio back on this roster, it's taken a lot of playing time away from Acuna. So Carlos is going to try to find ways to keep him in the game, even if it's for a couple of innings of defense, to get one at bat, to get a base running opportunity, for him not to get stale. You got a young guy with a lot of talent. You can't let him sit and rot on the bench, even if the situations don't dictate it. So Carlos is making sure that he provides for situations to get Acuna some experience, even if it's not necessarily the move that everybody thinks should happen at that point.